Welcome to Seasons of Grace, your daily dose of inspiration. As we journey through the Great Fast, we'll be reading selections from Father Jack Custer's book, Back to the Garden, a Lenten Journey Through Genesis.
Monday of the second week of the Great Fast. We read from the book of Genesis, starting at chapter 3, verse 21, ending at chapter 4, verse 7. Unto Adam also and to his wife did the Lord God make coats of skins and clothe them. And the Lord God said, Behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand, and take also of the tree of life, and eat, and live forever. Therefore the Lord God sent him forth from the Garden of Eden, to till the ground from whence he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims, and a flaming sword, which turned every way, to keep the way of the tree of life. And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived, and bore Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bore his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in the process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel he also brought of the firstlings of his flock, and of the fat thereof. And the Lord God had respect unto Abel and to his offering. But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very angry, and his countenance fell. And the Lord said unto Cain, Why are you angry, and why is your countenance fallen? If you do well, shall you not also be accepted? And if you do not well, sin lies at the door, and unto you shall be his desire, and you shall rule over him. As the story of Cain and Abel is brought to its most critical moment, God suddenly enters the story as a speaking character, and brings everything to a sudden halt. His words are left ringing in our ears. Sin is crouching at the door. Its desire is for you, but you must rule over it. For a brief moment, even though we know this tale so well, we wonder if this time Cain might make the right choice. Will he master his sullen disappointment? Will his fallen countenance be lifted up, not in bitter anger, but in the determination to do well and be accepted? This abrupt interruption, God's sudden, unsolicited advice, gives us the opportunity to reflect, at least for an evening, on the puzzling details of this foundational human story. Since we already know the story, it's tempting to divide the characters neatly up: innocent victim and violent villain. But with this cliffhanger worthy of a Netflix miniseries, we are given an opportunity to consider what's going on. Let your eyes, or in this case ears, wander back over the passage. If anyone is causing trouble in this story, it seems to be God. He inexplicably chose Abel's animal sacrifice and rejected Cain's vegetable one. No explanations are given. Cain has not violated any previously established legislation regarding the inappropriateness of vegetable sacrifices. We can easily sympathize with Cain. His craft, his bread and butter, the job he learned from his father Adam the gardener, has just been judged unacceptable by a dismissive and uncommunicative God. So Cain was very angry, and his face fell. And it is at that moment that God speaks, suggesting that if Cain does well, he will be accepted and master that little goblin, sin, that is crouching at the door. Frustratingly, God gives Cain no further instructions, no 5-step plan for successful sin management. To Cain, his words hang in the air, somewhere between encouragement and a taunt. If you do well, my son, be attentive to my words, incline your ear to my sayings, for they are life to those who find them and healing to all their flesh. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 22. These words of the ancient father also hang in the air this evening. They are an invitation to listen more deeply to the puzzling admonishment of this God who never lays out a clear path. If Cain is to find a way forward out of this moment of humiliation, if he is to do well and lift up his face, it will be because he works through an internal struggle at the door of his heart. It will be because he takes the time to listen and mull over God's words. If you do well. For reflection. The challenge placed before us in the moments of our own disappointments and rejections, our own smoldering, suffocating resentments, we know Cain's experience all too well, is to listen, to be attentive. The key to mastering our sin at that moment may not necessarily be ready at hand, and the path beyond that dangerous doorway may still be as dark as the night Cain is about to enter. But if we pause in the middle of it all, just as God's words put a stop to this story for a night, we might just, in those dark moments, begin to hear some new counsel emerge. However, it will never be heard if we don't stop to listen to anything other than our own resentment crouched and whispering at the door of our heart.
Thank you for listening to Seasons of Grace. If you would like to send this episode to a friend or listen again, please visit godwithusradio.org. You can also find previous and future episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and almost everywhere podcasts are available. A special thank you to Eastern Christian Publications for their permission to present Back to the Garden in this format.